Hello everyone, we have a question from JEE Simplified. This is the question, and supposedly it's one of the toughest questions in JEE 2024 mains, and I think it's stupidly easy. You don't need to worry about it. So let's just decode it and let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm gonna be quick about it. So you have an integral. So this is the integral, okay, and I'm just gonna break it into two parts. I'm gonna apply by parts all the way through. The solution that I got on JEE Simplified was just really bad. I did not expect a bad solution like that from them, but whatever. So all you have to do is multiply by sec power 4x, okay, and this hardly took me like 5 minutes to think about this question. Okay, so this would be sine x, 1 cos x, and this would be cos x, and then you would have sec square x. So this is tan x, and you can keep a sec x like this, and you can keep a sec x like this, and dx with this. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm keeping like that. And okay, let me just write it this way, a little bit tidy. Sec x tan x dx, and sec power 4x with this makes tan power 4x, and this would be 1. So I can write this as sec square x minus 1 squared, and for this I will have, so this can be written as sec x d of sec x. If you notice, this whole term is d of sec x. This would be sec square x minus 1 squared plus 1. Now I want you to take sec square x minus 1 is equal to z, and 2 sec x d of sec x is equal to dz, half 2, and you have half dz upon z square plus 1. This will give you half tan inverse z. What was z? It was tan square x. Alright, so yeah, you got your integral half tan inverse tan square x. So after applying by parts, this is the resultant integral you get. So I just applied by parts, and I would get the answer x squared by 2 tan inverse tan square x minus x tan inverse tan square x. So applying limits, and this would be integral from the by parts. This would give me pi square by 2 tan inverse or tan square of pi. This is 0, so this whole term would be 0, and on putting 0 you would have x squared to be 0, so this whole term is 0. Okay, now we have to find this. So for this I have 0 to pi x times tan inverse tan square x dx. I would apply King's rule, pi minus x tan inverse tan square x. This is a really easy question. Like, okay, I can say that it's a tough mains question, but not like a very JEE advanced type stuff. Okay, so 2i1 would be 0 to pi. So this would go, and you would be left with pi times tan inverse tan square x dx. I would just take this 2 here, and pi by 2 times 0 to pi tan inverse tan square x. I believe everybody could think till here. Now this is a good step, I can say. You have to break this into two parts, and the intuition for that I'll tell you in a bit. 1 second. Okay, so the intuition for this would be that when you take this as some i2, and you apply King's rule on it, you would have 0 to pi by 2 tan inverse of cot square x, right? Now when you add these up, okay, so you have 2i2, 0 to pi by 2, and you have tan inverse tan square x plus tan inverse cot square x. Now the idea behind doing all this was to take this into a single term, right? 1 minus tan square x times cot square x. Now this would be 1, and this whole would tend to infinity for any x belonging to R, right? So basically tan inverse of infinity, and this would straight up just be pi by 2 times dx. So pi by 2 times pi by 2 times 1 by 2 would be the value of I by 2. This is pi square by 8, right? And if you calculate this, you would know this would be the same thing. This is also pi square by 8. So when you add them up, you would have pi square by 4. Okay, so this whole thing is pi square by 4, and you would just multiply by pi by 2, pi cube by 8. Now what were you asked in the question? Well, you were asked 120 by pi cube times this, 120 by pi cube times pi cube by 8 mod pi cube cancelled, this would be 460, and you would be left with 15. Very easy question, there's nothing much about it. Just think about this step, okay? The conversion of an integral from 0 to pi to 0 to pi by 2 plus pi by 2 to pi. This was a good step. The intuition is clear. Your when you add them up, it would just become pi by 2, right? Okay, thanks for watching, and yeah, the answer is 15 if you attempted before.